tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, Forte. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
With all the school supplies your child will need over the years, it can be easy to overlook the most important one of all, money, which is a good reason to open an AZ 529 education savings plan. Whether you invest $15 or $150 a month, your money grows tax-free. By the time your little one is ready for college, vocational school, or workforce training, they'll have all the savings they need to get the job of their dreams. Visit az529.gov to get started.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
And welcome back to Beat the Book. It is a Friday. We are broadcasting from the Harmon Solar Studios of 1580 The Fanatic in sunny uptown Scottsdale, even though it's not as warm as you'd think if you're working inside. Dylan, he's our betting expert. He is right alongside me. I'm Keon Rose, and today on the show, we've got a lot to get into. Beat the Book went 7-3 yesterday. We'll talk about that, break that down a little bit. We'll talk some college football. We had some games last night. We'll talk about that because there were some picks in that game, and maybe you had a good time betting that. We also will be getting into our favorite soap opera as the basketball turns, starring Pat Riley, Jimmy Butler, and the Miami Heat that just continues to develop and grow. So we're going to get to that a little bit too, because the Jimmy Butler movement could have ripples that go throughout the NBA. It might even affect your Phoenix Suns. We'll talk about NFL Saturday and Sunday because we've got some teams that are fighting for positioning in the playoffs, fighting to get into the playoffs, fighting not to fall out of the playoffs. Whatever the case may be, there are going to be opportunities to bet that. Then, of course, we'll give you the picks for today to wrap up the show. So before we get to any and all of those things, Dylan, who powers the show?
That would be Sport Trade. And if you have not already, make sure you download Sport Trade on your smartphone. Use promo code 1580 to take advantage of their 10% cashback promotion on the new account sign up. And Fridays are typically the days where Sport Trade CEO Alex Kane joins us here on the show. Alex, unfortunately, had something come up. He's not going to be able to make it on the program today, but Sport Trade is still running the weekly implied probability contest where you, the listener, have an opportunity to win a $100 Amazon gift card and $50 in cash sent directly to your Sport Trade account for you to play some extra wagers with. So the contest is still going on. For anyone that's listening right now and knows the rules, has participated before, if you would like to go ahead and send in your guess on what you believe the win percentage is going to be for the Arizona Cardinals at halftime of their game against the San Francisco 49ers this coming Sunday, you can go ahead and send your submission now. The text line is 888-368-1580. And if you happen to be new to Beat the Book and you like $100 Amazon gift cards, you like getting cash sent directly to a sportsbook account that you own, so then that way you can turn around and try and grow that money into more money, then stick around for segment 2. That is when I will be going over the full contest, the rules, what it's all about, how it works, what you can win. So make sure you stick around for that. And now that we've got all that stuff out of the way, let's talk a little bit of betting as far as yesterday went. Part of this whole radio show with Beat the Book is that we do manage a website where each day we are posting 10 different bets that you have the ability to tail, or if you don't believe in, what we're seeing there, if you want to fade it, up to you. But we're trying to just, give a little bit of betting recommendations that, hopefully you can turn around and make some extra cash with. And if you happen to follow the picks from yesterday, 7 out of the 10 ended up winning. So pretty strong day from Beat the Book. If you didn't happen to check those out, well, guess what? There's another 10 picks that were posted for today. There's also a long shot parlay. This one happens to pay a little bit over 200 to 1. You can literally put $5 down and turn that money into over $1,000 if you happen to follow this long shot parlay. So you can just search in your browser, Beat the Book Fanatic or Beat the Book Dylan Cohen. Either one of those is going to pull up the website. You can also follow me on Instagram. The handle is at Beat the Book Fanatic, all spelled out. If you hit the link in the bio, that'll take you right to the Beat the Book site so you can see what those bets are. You can check out the long shot parlay and get your bets in on that. And with all that being said, let's talk a little college football here, Keon. We had a pretty solid day as far as the bets went in the college football world. We had the Sugar Bowl go down yesterday as that game was supposed to take place back on Saturday, or I'm sorry, not Saturday, on Wednesday. Got them all turned around because of New Year's.
Because we took off. Well, we didn't really take off New Year's Eve, but we had New Year's, and that it just felt like a weekend. So I've been trying to get my brain to not act like every day after New Year's has been Monday. It feels like Monday over and over again. I don't know why. Just we're stuck there. We're stuck on New Year's apparently.
Hey, well, thank God today is Friday, so that is something that we can celebrate there. But getting back to the Sugar Bowl that went down yesterday, Notre Dame came out victorious. And if you follow the Beat the Book picks, we put out there that was the number one play yesterday is take Notre Dame on the money line. Final score there was 23-10. Notre Dame is now going to advance to take on Penn State in the Orange Bowl. And, the big thing with siding with Notre Dame over Georgia in this one, it really just boiled down to Georgia not having their starting quarterback available. And my suspicion, which turned out to be true, and I mean, this honestly just feels like common sense. When you get to these later stages of, the postseason and you're playing these extra meaningful games, whether it's, just a typical bowl game, not one of these elevated ones, or if it's one of these elevated ones, if you're coming into this matchup without your starting quarterback that's been with your team the entire season, and now you're handing the ball to someone that has extremely limited reps or none at all, I mean, that is, to me, that's just the definition of like a shot in the dark. You really don't know what you're going to get on the field. And with Georgia, they did not have Carson Beck available. They were having to work with Gunnar Stockton, who is Beck's backup. And Gunnar Stockton, honestly, the potential is there. I mean, if you watch this game yesterday, you can see why this guy is, the next heir apparent as far as the quarterback position goes. I mean, the guy's got an arm, definitely was able to make some dynamic plays. But at the end of the day, I mean, when Georgia needed this guy to, complete a long, sustained drive for them, he could pull off a long yardage play, but then it was followed up with, another 3 to 5 plays of just being stagnant and not being able to move the ball. Keon, what were your takeaways from the Sugar Bowl yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, basically the same thing that you said. When you look at what Gunnar was able to do, he had some big plays, especially throwing the football downfield, but they were all chunk plays. And then when you're trying to get to some of the, the money downs, you're talking about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. You really couldn't convert those. And that is where you will lose football games in the world of college football. And then, even if you take a look at Notre Dame's roster on the defensive side of the ball, you're looking at a lot of juniors. You're looking at a lot of seniors on that side of the ball. I mean, there's a decent amount of freshmen and worked in there too, but there's a lot of upperclassmen. You've got, graduate students that are playing there. So you've got a redshirt sophomore in Gunnar Stockton going up against a pretty experienced Notre Dame defense.
just seemed advantaged Notre Dame from the beginning. And I think that he did a really good job of trying to keep them in that game. I thought Kirby Smart coached it about as well as you could have. Try to keep it conservative, take your shots when you get those opportunities. But there just wasn't enough to stop Notre Dame, who didn't have to be outrageous. They didn't throw the ball a whole lot. I think it was 90 total passing yards for Riley Leonard, who did more on the ground, honestly, than he did in the passing game. They played a very conservative game, Notre Dame did, because they didn't have to do a whole lot, as is usually the case when you're going up against a sophomore quarterback in a very big, high-profile game in this stage in the college football season.
Well, and to your point about Riley Leonard there, he finished the game with 90 passing yards.
Yeah.
But 80 rushing yards.
Yeah, and by the way, Riley Leonard, if you really want to see what Sam Levitt could turn into, Riley Leonard's not a bad person to look at, because as good of a passer of the football as Riley Leonard can be when they need him to do that, they didn't really need him to do that yesterday. As a runner, he is surprisingly quick. He is agile. And I believe he had 15 touchdowns rushing this year, which is a Notre Dame school record. So like there are avenues, if you look at Sam Levitt, the way that Riley Leonard plays, like there are avenues for him to become that kind of quarterback. And most teams in the country would kill to have a Riley Leonard at quarterback.
Well, looking ahead now for Notre Dame, as I mentioned, they're going to be taking on Penn State in the Orange Bowl. That game is taking place, I believe, this coming Thursday, January 9th. And there is a line available on this game right now as far as the betting market is concerned. Notre Dame has opened as a slight favorite. They are currently favored by 1.5 points, minus 125 on the money line over at FanDuel. Keon, any kind of early inclinations about this game? I mean, we're going to have more to say on it next week, but like, I know for me right now, my gut is leaning more towards Notre Dame, but I really do actually see this one as something that could be pretty competitive. Are you, from at least right now, are you leaning a certain way in that matchup?
I'm leaning towards Penn State a little, but it's not a strong feeling at all. And, Penn State's been up and down. They've been hard to trust this year. Some of their downs haven't resulted in losses, but they haven't been great, and they have the potential to be kind of a more dynamic team than they are. They just haven't been able to do that. By the way, taking a look at the text line really quick. First off, Golden Domer, Whiskey Tailgate friend, Swazman got all of your guesses in for the Cardinals win probability contest. And then Pickle D on the text line says Stockton was lighting their asses up. Not one bit of that loss was on him. It was all on the left side of the O-line that couldn't block a spam call, and the turnovers in the worst possible moments. Those 17 points in 57 seconds of game time killed us. Outside of that, Georgia crushed them. And I don't think that you can say Georgia crushed them. You lost by 13, but I wouldn't put it on Gunnar Stockton. No, like we said, we're giving him a lot of credit for how he played that game. But it does look like Notre Dame did have the game plan of, we'll let you beat us over the top. We just don't want you to try and move the chains consistently, first down after first down. And you also have to give Notre Dame some credit, because that is an experienced pass rush that they have. They have a couple of graduate students on that pass rush. Guys were playing football for their 5th season. So that's going to be a factor in all of this too. Bear Claw says, how do you get around the 1 to 2 minute delay you have watching a game on TV and wanting to bet in game? And I don't know, Dylan. Do you have a way you think about that? Or
well, okay. So as far as like delays go and like televised broadcasts, like the bigger delays are going to come off streaming services. So like if you use like YouTube TV, for example, if that's like your general, means of watching this stuff, and you don't have like access to cable of any kind, then yeah, your delay actually is probably going to be a minute or two. And at that point, it's pretty tricky to do that. At that point, your live bets are probably going to come at like the longer pauses in the game. So that way there's no surprises for you. You have to make it at the end of a quarter or halftime, whatever it is. If you're someone that has access to like cable or satellite TV, those delays are significantly less. So that's where you do actually have a little bit more of an advantage for like literal, like in the moment live betting. But it's tough. No, I definitely feel for you. And there's a lot of times, especially like NFL Sundays, I do leverage like a YouTube TV account. So like I have to like remind myself while I'm watching, like, these guys like totally have a jump on me right now. Like, it feels, slippery slope.
It is still delayed. It is still delayed. But the radio, not to be a shill for the industry I happen to be working in, but the radio's ahead of everything.
So
like we have the TVs on here in the studio, and we were more than probably way too happy to leave early on a Monday night or a Thursday night, and get home and just chill out. But we'll have the TVs on, and when the broadcast starts, you can hear it's maybe 45 seconds to a minute that the radio is ahead of the network TV, which is of course ahead of, as Dylan mentioned, the streaming services. So just, do with that information what you will.
That's a good point, Keon, because I don't think it ever hurts to remind the fourth dimension and anyone listening that 1580 The Fanatic is your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
So
if you're going to be betting on that, just if you put up, turn the radio is going to be ahead of everything, but even the streaming of 1580 The Fanatic is going to be ahead of any TV. Because we don't have visual data to push through.
You don't need to be in your car to listen to us. There's an app.
Yeah,
you can download the app.
There's an app. There's a website. Just saying that'll put you. You'll still be behind the sports book, okay? But you will be ahead of watching it on TV if it's really that important to you to get that as accurate as you possibly can. Pickle D, big Georgia fan on the text line, says Notre Dame didn't beat Georgia. Georgia beat Georgia. I could see a little bit of both, because Notre Dame did put up 23 points on the board. Like they didn't, and it wasn't all interceptions returned. Their offense did score points. So I don't think you get to say that Notre Dame didn't do anything involved or was not involved anyway in their own victory that they got. But Notre Dame is a little bit of a team that just happened to get the easiest path here. If you go through the regular season, who did Notre Dame actually defeat this year? Like nobody great. They're affiliated with the ACC. The ACC had a down year. It was not a good ACC season. And then, they show up in the playoff. They get a matchup that is absolutely outrageously lopsided in favor of them. They win that matchup. And then they go on to play Georgia, who doesn't have Carson Beck. I still don't know how good Notre Dame is. And that's the reason why, in the future matchup against Penn State, like I'm leaning towards Penn State because I at least know what Penn State is. I genuinely do not know what we have in Notre Dame at all.
Now, just getting back to the college football, like one of the concepts that I really wanted to highlight here is just, being aware of these bowl games that are going on where there's a team that's playing without their regular starting quarterback. If you happen to follow the Beat the Book pick for the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl last night, that was played between Ole Miss and Duke. This was another scenario where Ole Miss had Jackson Dart. He is their regular starting quarterback. Duke was playing without their regular starting quarterback. He transferred to a new school. They were also missing their starting running back as well. So that was just another matchup where, if you took Ole Miss on the spread, you won that handily. The final score was 52-20. Our recommendation was to take Ole Miss on the first half spread, which was 9.5. Score at halftime there was 24-7. So we covered that one pretty easily as well. And this is going to be important to keep in mind, because if you look at the Beat the Book picks for today, there is a pick in the Texas State and North Texas game. And this is another matchup where North Texas, not playing with their regular starting quarterback, Texas State has Jordan McLeod ready to go. And just judging off the way that we've seen these similar dynamics play out in the last month or so, it's looking like Texas State is poised for another big win. In this case, the pick that was posted was actually to do the first half spread once again for Texas State. It's going to be for them to cover -7.5. That's at least where the line was on that when I posted that this morning. If it has changed since, just know that the lines move. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But now that we've got that out of the way, just want to
one quick shout out about the Duke's Mayo Bowl there. I'm feeling Minnesota. Like the more I learn about this game, there are some injuries to Minnesota, but a couple of things that are noteworthy there. PJ Fleck, 6-2 in bowl games, just flat out, the guy just doesn't lose those games. And then Virginia Tech actually did have a number of players put their names in the transfer portal, which that is the big kicker for me. So that kind of balances out the injuries to Minnesota. I feel much better about PJ Fleck and the Golden Gophers' opportunities of winning that game. I would take that game money line.
So there you go. go ahead and put your bets on Minnesota money line there. The Duke's Mayo Bowl kicks off later on tonight, so you still have time to get those bets in. And with that being said, we were going to recap some NBA last night. Just know the Beat the Book stuff did pretty well with that. If you bet on LeBron James points, you definitely had a good night. He finished with 38 points in the Lakers win over the Blazers. And if you listened to the show yesterday, I explained how there is a 4-year streak of LeBron James scoring at least 28 or more points against the Portland Trail Blazers. That held true last night. The Lakers have a handful of games left against the Blazers this year, so that's just one you need to keep in the back of your mind. Whenever the Lakers play the Blazers, you bet on LeBron to score. He will take care of you there. Now, I would really love to get into this Jimmy Butler thing. I know we're kind of up against a little bit of a break here. Do we?
Yeah, we're up against it. If we can just come back and refresh and reset, because I want to get into this too, and I don't want us to feel like we got to rush or anything like that. One last look at the text line. Pickle D arguing for his dogs. They scored 7 offensive points, and that was because of the fumble on the Georgia 20-yard line. Other than that, they got Mercer in the red zone, and then 2 Georgia fumbles, the sideline penalty, the kickoff return, and the offside penalty at the end are what did Georgia in. Those are all self-inflicted. I should point out that Notre Dame not having self-inflicted penalties and turnovers is also part of them winning. But that's a hill you're willing to die on, and not me. That's your team, dude. Like, I don't care enough to fight you on this. All I'm going to say is that as a Texas fan, I'm just glad at the opportunity of my team not having to see yours, whether we don't win or we win and you're not there in a title game. I'm just happy about that aspect of it. I don't think the Texas could beat Georgia this year with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. It just felt like they had our number all year long. So we'll get back. We'll talk a little bit of soap opera drama, Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley, the Miami Heat. We'll get into it right here on Beat the Book on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up, you check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line move, and your bet rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of SportTrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the SportTrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinning wheels. Live bets on SportTrade are instantly accepted. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC+. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.tv.
Hi guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
It's the sound of the fight songs, the excitement of the rivalries. It's the unbelievable upsets. It's the Heisman hopefuls. It's the national rankings. College football is coming. Listen for it on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
All right, I'm seeing a couple more guesses come on in for the Cardinals win probability contest. So I'll go ahead and throw that to you, DC, to set this all back up.
Yeah. So, if you happen to be new to the program, or if this is the first time you're able to tune in on a Friday, normally what happens at this point in time is we regularly have the CEO of Sport Trade, which is the newest sports book here in Arizona. They did their soft launch towards the latter part of 2024, end of September, early October, and the app has been running smoothly ever since. There's going to be some new additions and some adjustments to the app coming into next year, and Alex will continue to be on the program in the next coming weeks. We'll hear more from him about those things. But to get people interested in Sport Trade, to start to help you understand the difference in leveraging Sport Trade to make all your sports bets, Sport Trade started a contest where what you need to do is you need to send us on our text line 888-368-1580. Text us the percentage that you believe will be for the Arizona Cardinals to win their game at halftime when they take on the San Francisco 49ers this coming Sunday. And if you happen to download Sport Trade and you check out the app, the biggest thing that you'll notice that makes them different from all the other sports books is that they don't like to represent their odds as standard American odds. You will see those on there to kind of give you a sense of familiarity, but they want to get you used to starting to look at this stuff in terms of percentages, as opposed to someone that's minus 110 to win, or plus 215. Instead of looking at like that, if you pull up the Cardinals and 49ers game on Sport Trade right now, you'll see that the Arizona Cardinals have a 68% chance to win the game. Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers are priced at 33.5% to win the game. So if you would like to participate in the Sport Trade implied probability contest, you just send us a text. Again, the number is 888-368-1580. And what you need to do is you need to envision how this game is going to go in the first half. And by halftime, you need to determine what the win percentage is going to be for the Cardinals to win the game at that point. So right now, before the game has started, it's 68%. If the Cardinals happen to be doing well, if they're up a couple of touchdowns by halftime, perhaps it's still around 68%. Maybe it gets a little higher. Maybe it's 80s, maybe it's 90s. If you take the flip side of that and maybe the Niners just come to town and they're beating the crap out of us, and, all of a sudden we're down a couple of touchdowns at halftime, perhaps that percentage drops pretty low. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 5%. The biggest thing is you cannot send us 0% or 100%, because at halftime of the game's not over. So it can't be 0, it can't be 100. The other dynamic in this is that we do price is right rules. So what that means is that if your guess goes over what the actual percentage ends up being, then you are not going to win. You have to either guess the exact percentage on the dot or come in as close as possible below it. If you are the lucky winner, then the prize is a $100 Amazon gift card and $50 in cash sent directly to your Sport Trade account. You do not need to have the account already set up in order to participate. So you can go ahead and text in a submission. If you happen to win, Sport Trade will give you the opportunity to create your Sport Trade account. So that way you can receive the extra 50 in cash there, hopefully turn around, place some more bets, grow that money so it's even larger. That'll be at your discretion. But that is the Sport Trade Implied Probability Contest. You can go ahead and text us your submissions now. I know we've been getting a number of them over the commercial break there. So for anyone that has already sent in your guess, we appreciate you participating. Thank you so much. If you have not sent in that guess yet, you have all the way up until kickoff on Sunday to send in your submission.
Well, real quick on the text line, by the way, Sir Drives a Lot, Oaktown Destroyer got your guesses. Sir Drives a Lot also says, enjoy the college football playoff, Keon. I put $100 on Sport Trade credits on the Sun Devils to win, and I was so close. You really were. I don't know if you had the ability to pull some of that back out, because the partial cash out really helps in a situation like that where it's really close. You're not sure, but maybe you were just in a mood where you're like, no, that's my team. I'm going to ride it out. You know, we're up. You know, they need to score this touchdown to win the game. Maybe you were right there and you were just going to push all your chips in. But sorry that it didn't work out for you. I didn't have fun with that at all. It was miserable rooting against a team I like. And then Pickle D says, well, I'll be pulling for you and your Texas Longhorns now. So I appreciate that too. Now we got to get to this NBA stuff, man.
We got to get down to it. This is
this is getting ridiculous.
This is honestly one of the more entertaining things that's come out of the NBA so far this season. And to really kind of set this up properly, we need to actually go back to December 27th. Something happened on December 27th, and Keon and I caught wind of this. We chose not to include it on the show, but this is now spiraled into something a lot bigger. So now it is relevant. It needs to be talked about. Way back on December 27th, Pat Riley put out a statement because there's been all of this consistent speculation about Jimmy Butler. There's reporting about his agent trying to, give the Heat a list of teams that, he wants to go to. He's trying to win now. He's interested in the Suns. He's interested in the Rockets. He likes the Mavericks. He likes the Warriors. And then, this started to get a little nasty. To the point where Jimmy Butler's agent is now tweeting at Shams Charania, and he's accusing him of being a liar and using AI to write his articles. And it's getting a little crazy. So December 27th rolls around. Pat Riley puts out a statement, and he says, and here's the actual quote: "We usually don't comment on rumors, but all this speculation has become a distraction to the team, and it's not fair to the players and coaches. Therefore, we will make it clear we are not trading Jimmy Butler." And when that statement came out, Keon and I were talking about this, and there was just something that was really off about it, because number one, this kind of goes against the sort of unwritten rule of like NBA teams in these scenarios, because you never like fan your dirty laundry out to the public. If something is going on internally that is disrupting players and coaches, and it's, toxic to the locker room, you don't like get on your own personal press conference and like announce that to the world. You keep those things in-house and you work as diligently as you can to try and resolve them in-house. So the fact that Pat Riley was willing to get up there and say, hey, guess what, everyone? There's something going on right now. It's really bothering the organization. And it's so bad that I'm going to come in here now and I'm going to put my voice out on this.
Which doesn't quiet the flames at all. If anything, that draws more attention to it. Now that you've sort of dignified it with an answer, it kind of lends itself to helping fan the flames.
The first thing I said to Keon was, the damage is already done. If this is how far that this whole thing has gone to where Pat Riley is now going to come out, and he's going to make a statement like this, like there's damage done. And then what's played out since then is Jimmy Butler being the master of passive aggressive conflicts within NBA organizations. This is kind of ironically just sort of like the natural sort of tenure of like any Jimmy Butler team that he's been on in his entire career. We've seen this play out before when, the contract isn't lining up with how he feels he's been performing and he doesn't feel like he's getting the respect he deserves. He's going to absolutely let the world know. He's going to let executives know. He's going to let the team know. He's going to be very loud and vocal about it until he potentially gets his way. And this was exactly how he forced his way from Chicago to Philadelphia to Minnesota over to Miami. And the thing that makes it, kind of difficult to like really criticize him over this is that Jimmy Butler just has this level that we've all seen that he can kick into in the postseason, where he just plays at such an unreal caliber that it's just difficult to condemn this kind of behavior, so to speak. So in this case, Jimmy dyes his hair orange. Jimmy is not being shy with the media about, how he actually feels about these things. And this really just boiled over last night after the Heat's game against the Pacers. Jimmy does his post-game meeting with the media. He's being asked very direct questions about this whole thing. And he is directly just contradicting the things that Pat Riley is trying to say, to push his point. And Jimmy Butler's coming out and he's saying, I expect to be traded. And then he also went further than that to say that he no longer has joy on the court when he plays for the Miami Heat, and he does not believe that it's something that can be salvaged. So now here we are, January 3rd. Trade deadline is about a month away. Plenty of time for the Heat to make a move. The Heat, meanwhile, are actually still playing, well enough to be able to, assume that they're more than likely going to the postseason. There is a world that we live in where, perhaps the Heat just deal with this. But at this rate, this just seems like a conflict that is just going to get worse and worse by the day. And Jimmy Butler, it's just in his personality to where he's not going to back down. And then meanwhile, you look at Pat Riley, and I just can't also imagine Pat Riley backing down as well. What's like your current kind of thoughts on this, Keon?
Yeah, the way I kind of look at this stuff is you've got two guys that are kind of trying to get the leverage to get what they want. Pat Riley doesn't want to trade Jimmy Butler. At least he doesn't want to on the terms that Jimmy wants him to trade him. And his heels are dug in. And he's Pat Riley, and he's the Godfather. And he's, coached the Knicks at a high level. And he's coached these very same Heat at a high level, and the LA Lakers and the Showtime Lakers. Like all of these things. Pat Riley is about as close to a fixture in the game of basketball as exists. If he wants to get his way, he usually does. Jimmy, as you've mentioned, has now gotten his way 3 different times. Chicago, Philadelphia, Minnesota. It stands to reason that if Jimmy Butler wants to leave a place, he figures it out. He gets out. And so now you've got this battle of egos, essentially. And the result is that, like, Jimmy may end up being moved, but maybe not in the way that he wants to. Maybe Pat Riley is going to be very petty about this. And I don't know what's going to happen because Pat could do anything. If Pat trades him, I'm not shocked. If Pat doesn't trade him, I'm not shocked. If Jimmy continues to make a gigantic stink about this from now until the trade deadline, and maybe even beyond that, to be honest, like, I promise I will be the headache, the thorn in your side forever, then we could see that happening too. And if Jimmy, just suddenly gets eerily quiet, that could also happen. I just feel like anything could happen in this scenario. And, you were mentioning it before the show, like there is a way in which there's like a 4-team trade just to get Jimmy the hell out of there. Just get him out of there. He keeps talking to the media about this. Pat Riley specifically said he did not want this to be a distraction. And then Jimmy has basically found a way to make this the headline story on ESPN every single day.
Well, and, more of what came out last night is that Jimmy Butler is apparently open to playing for any team. So, at first there was this wish list of like 4 teams. Now that's like out the window. And he's like, I will literally be happier playing anywhere else. And you also have to understand too, like, yes, you want to take these guys at their word, but there is sort of a more macro level kind of posturing type of thing going on, because at the end of the day, like, Jimmy Butler's still in a contract negotiation with the Heat. His representation is actively working with Mickey Arison, the owner of the Heat, as well as Pat Riley. They're not coming to an agreement, but it's an ongoing dialogue. So Pat Riley has to do things to make sure that they're gaining leverage. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler, after every single game he plays, is going to have a mic shoved in his face where he has an opportunity to try and pull the leverage back to him and his agent, Bernie Lee. So there's kind of other layers to this that you have to be, thinking about. But, and I said this to Keon before the show, we've seen this enough times out of Jimmy Butler to know kind of like what the evolution of this looks like and what the next steps are. And what I believe is going to happen if Pat Riley really doesn't make any quick actions on this. The Heat are going to have a day of practice coming up. It might be next week. It might be the week after. Whatever it is, Jimmy will hand select this day. It's going to be a day where Mickey Harrison's there, Pat Riley's there. Just about everyone that he's going to want to do this in front of is there. And he's going to handpick the 4 worst guys in the gym. And he's going to basically demand that they all play 5-on-5. And he's going to want to go up against the starters. And he's doing this to try and prove a point, because he's been getting criticism. This is what the rumor is, allegedly. Internally, Jimmy's been getting criticized by the Heat for, not playing hard, not playing to his potential, whatever you want to, believe on that front. Jimmy takes that very disrespectfully. And this is something that we saw already with the Timberwolves, where he did this in Minnesota.
And I believe he did it in Philly as well. Not to the same degree, but I believe the general manager was in the building, and Jimmy was basically like, "You need me," and he was just screaming at him specifically. So he's done this twice. This is not new territory for Jimmy Butler.
So and I'm looking forward to that story coming out. But then you think about our Phoenix Suns and how this could potentially impact us. And yeah, there was a lot of chatter about Bradley Beal, and maybe the Suns could try and make something work. I mean, you really kind of take a step back and you look at it now, and if there is a trade to be made, it's not a direct swap of Bradley Beal going directly to the Miami Heat. It's going to have to be something outside the box, very creative. Maybe it's 3 teams, maybe it's 4 teams, but the Suns are going to have to figure out another team out there in the league that actually would want Bradley Beal, and then would be willing to turn around and send assets to the Heat to get Bradley Beal services, and then the Heat could send Jimmy Butler over to us. Now, one thing that does come to mind, I did bring this up. The Detroit Pistons right now, currently in the play-in, they're ranked in the 9th seed, 15-18 record. They just lost their starting shooting guard for the rest of the year, Jaden Ivey, who's having a career year, broke his fibula. He's gone. Perhaps that's a team that might potentially want to kick the tires on Bradley Beal and say, "Hey, look, what if we just brought in this upgrade right now at shooting guard and we made a real run to try and go into the playoffs?"
And they have so many rookie contracts. The Beal is maybe that's the one place Beal could go that wouldn't hamstring that particular team forever, because they just have so many young players on that roster that the fact that his deal is enormous and forever long hurts them less than it hurts a lot of other teams.
So, I mean, this is just going to be something to monitor for now, but I would definitely expect something to get done with Jimmy Butler, despite what Pat Riley said. I do not see the Heat just letting Jimmy Butler walk for nothing. Just right now, when there is a market for him and there are teams out there willing to pay something for him, you don't just turn around and walk away from that. Or perhaps maybe, the Heat and Jimmy, they figure out some kind of an arrangement, and maybe they do get some kind of an extension done. And this was all just, both sides leveraging the media for posturing in a contract negotiation. I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out. Only time will tell.
Yeah. So that's going to be that for that story, but I doubt we've heard the last of Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. So let's see. Sir Drives a Lot decided to let it ride on that ASU pick.
I would have done the same thing.
Could have cashed it out, but when you were getting to a certain point in the game where it felt like the comeback was on,
dude, we're up 7 in the first overtime, and we have them down to a 4th and 15. Like, there's,
you feel really good about it. So there you go. Swazman making the same comment we've heard many times about Jimmy Butler's mom and Michael Jordan. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't think that's what happened, but we're going to hear that for Jimmy for the rest of his life. And we're going to hear we're also going to hear it about Anthony Edwards. And all I'm going to say is just let's not say that about those guys' moms. I understand they play like they could be his kids. I don't want to say that about somebody's mom, though, because you would have to imply that. Prison Wallet says, something told me to put $50 on North Texas when it hit 19.5. Almost got it at 21.5. And I think the line of that game kind of closed out at 15.5 before the game started. So maybe, I mean, it's like Texas State, I think, is going to win this game, but are they going to win by 3 touchdowns? I think that's a lot. And then T-Licious says, hockey did me in last night. So like a good degenerate gambler, college basketball it is. So he put out the parlay there. We'll try to get to that on the other side, T-Licious, but we are up against it. We've got some NFL to get to in the picks for today. You're listening to Beat the Book right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings, plus free home delivery with an adjustable base. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale and clearance, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Did you know that vitamins are your partners in health, not just inside, but outside too? These nutrients are key to our daily well-being. And for anyone who can get pregnant, folic acid is a must for preventing birth defects, helping you have a healthier pregnancy. The Arizona Department of Health Services is offering 3 months of free daily vitamins with folic acid. Power your health inside and out. Get your free vitamins at azdhs.gov/PowerMeA2C.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
1580 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
So we're about to wrap things up here. We'll take one last look at the old text line. Swazman, missed a text from you earlier, says, boys, PGA Golf first tournament of the year out of 36 from Hawaii this week. Do you guys have any advice on golf betting? Last year, it was very difficult. I like to try the top 20 parlay. Good for you. I have no advice on this. Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I've won some golf bets in the past, but I'm not gonna try and act like I'm some kind of golf expert. I mean, honestly, what the times where I bet the most golf is typically during the Waste Management Open, because for me it's fun to like bet it, be able to go and
especially
watch
if you're
it.
there and you're around.
Yeah,
dangerous for me because all I do is drink when I'm there. I don't know anything when I'm there. It's mostly booze, so I can't help anybody. But yeah, no, that's going to be
my go-to advice is just to bet on Scotty Scheffler, but I'm pretty sure he's not in that tournament because he just cut his hand or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. So there you go. Look, if Dylan says I'm noticing a trend in the NBA, I'm on that. Golf, I got nothing for you, dude. And then let's see here. We've got Wichita State and Temple. Wagner -9.5. Let's see. We've got Marist on the money line against Iona. We've got Michigan State over Ohio State, and then Georgetown on the money line over Xavier. And that is the degenerate bet slip of T-Licious the now college basketball better after being burned by the NHL last night.
T-licious, I hope that Georgetown one comes through for you, because Xavier is better than a lot of people give him credit for this year. But with that being said, let's take a look at Saturday in the NFL. The schedule is starting to wind down here for the regular season in the National Football League, and it's kind of taken a little bit of a turn in that there's going to be some Saturday games this time, and then the rest are happening on Sunday. And the two games that are going down on Saturday are compelling for, actually like similar reasons, in that the Ravens and the Steelers are competing right now to try and, ultimately win the AFC North. But in addition to that, you've got the Cincinnati Bengals, who are just fighting for, their playoff lives right now. So the Bengals are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this game is going to be played in Pittsburgh. Keon, what are you expecting in this game? Do the Bengals keep their winning streak alive and get that fifth one in a row, or do the Steelers hold them and kill their playoff hopes?
I think the Steelers are going to try to knock them off. Obviously, winning the division would be huge because Baltimore is playing Cleveland. If Baltimore, who is favored by 20 points in this game, wins that game, what would happen is that Baltimore would be able to hang on to the division win there. They would be a home team in the playoffs, which I think in the AFC especially is huge. You want to play as many games as home as you possibly can, because at some point you're going to be on the road and you're probably going to be playing in Kansas City. Just go ahead and try and get all the home games that you can to give yourself every advantage to play and extend your playoff run. I think Pittsburgh feels the same way, but they're not playing an opponent that is done for the year. They're playing the Bengals, who are one of the hottest teams in football. Joe Burrow is having an MVP caliber season. He won't win it, but he's having the kind of season that you have when you're in that conversation. And they may wind up being one of the only ever 0-4 teams to make the playoffs if they can find a way to get this done. They are going to need some help from Denver. Denver's going to need to lose. Miami is in front of them. They're playing Snoop Huntley, so it's likely that Miami's going to lose, but they would need for Miami to absolutely do that. So I just think that there is a really, really, really good chance that the Bengals just come out firing and they go down to the wire with this thing in a way that I don't think the Steelers are going to be quite as desperate to do.
And, we talked yesterday, we went through a number of week 18 player props to keep an eye on, because guys have contracts with different performance incentives built in. So, there's different guys, that need X amount of receiving yards or rushing yards or a sack to make a pretty large chunk of change. Now, within the Bengals and the Steelers game, when you look at the Bengals, you don't necessarily have those incentives coming into play. However, and you were telling me a bit about this before the show, you've got a guy like T. Higgins, who is in a contract year, who has all the motivation in the world to potentially either audition for his next team or audition for his current team. But, he has to continue to try and show his worth. And he's coming off a game where he had over 100 yards receiving, 3 receiving touchdowns. So to be able to follow that one up with another big performance would go a long way for him. You've got Jamar Chase, another guy who is also looking to sign a new contract. He's already had an incredible season, enough to the point where he's probably secured the bag. But it would still help him to be able to, have a good performance here, help his team get the win, and at least show that they did everything they possibly could at this point in the season to try and make the playoffs. Are there any, other kinds of things, I guess, to keep an eye out for, as far as motivations go like that?
Yeah, I mean, for that, I do think that, Golden Domer actually had one on the text line, not necessarily in that game, but you do have Myles Garrett, and then you have Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson. He said Saturday is also fun for season sack leaders, with Garrett Miles and Trey Hendrickson tied, and Watt is only 2 behind those guys. So, you have 3 guys here potentially battling for that defensive player of the year, all in the AFC North, all, with some kind of playoff positioning on the line. That could potentially be something where you're looking at the sack numbers and going, yeah, it would be huge for Myles Garrett to be the sack leader again. I know that that's important to him. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson is probably, because he plays on a Bengals defense that gives up a lot of air yards, he doesn't get known for how good of a defensive player he is. So I appreciate Golden Domer with the assist there. But yeah, I think that's another one to keep an eye out for.
Now, as far as those player props goes, most of them are out for the Saturday games. On the Sunday games, many of them we're still waiting for the lines to come out there. In years past, the books weren't as sensitive about Week 18, and now it seems like they're really starting to pay a lot more attention to the incentives and the motivations. So that's really the only reason that I can draw from to explain why they don't have their lines out yet. But at least if you're going to look at like Bengals and Steelers, and we said this stuff yesterday, it's on the Beat the Book post for today. You definitely want to consider betting on the Bengals' offensive production. So this can be Joe Burrow over on passing yards. This could be T. Higgins and Jamar Chase over on receiving yards. Just know that these guys are going to be as motivated as really you can possibly be to go out and do their best. And those are great scenarios to try and bet on. So good luck with your bets, everyone, this weekend. And we will see you on Monday.
And that'll do it for us. One quick last look at the text line. We've got Swazman saying, I really like your long shot parlays. You guys always think about it, and we could all win. And look, I don't take any credit for that. The long shot parlay, that is all the work of Dylan Cohen. And boy, when it hits, it feels good. It's a rush.
Put $5 on this one today. I'm telling you.
This one does feel really good. Swazman also, let's see here. Whoops, sorry. Pickle D throwing in your guest there. So we'll go ahead and take that on board. That's going to do it for us, guys. Daily Blender's coming up next, and we will see you all on Monday.